Ever feel completely exhausted, but your mind just won't shut up? Well, in this explainer, we're diving into a mineral that might just be the key to breaking that cycle: magnesium. We're going to explore the science of how stress messes with your body and how this little mineral can help bring back the calm and, yes, improve your sleep. Oh man, does this sound familiar? You're just lying there, your body feels like lead, but your brain is running a full-on marathon, just replaying the day, planning tomorrow. You're desperate to fall asleep, but your brain just refuses to get the memo. You know, this awful feeling actually has a name. It's the tired but wired dilemma. It's basically a sign that your body is totally out of gas, but your nervous system is stuck in fifth gear, and it's the core problem we're going to unpack right now. So, what's really going on here? Well, it might have a lot to do with this number. See, according to some recent data, nearly half, that's half, of adults in the US might not be getting enough magnesium. And since magnesium is so crucial for relaxation, this could be a huge piece of the puzzle for why so many of us feel this way. Okay, to really understand why magnesium is such a game changer, we first have to understand the battlefield. Let's talk about what's happening inside our bodies, what some researchers call the midnight war between stress and sleep. Time to get into the science. Right at the center of this whole conflict is something called the HPA axis. The easiest way to think about it is as your body's mission control for stress. When you're under pressure, this system lights up and tells your adrenal glands to start pumping out stress hormones, most famously cortisol. Now, a little bit of cortisol is totally normal. It helps you wake up in the morning. But the problem is chronic stress. When you're stressed all the time, the HPA axis never really gets a break. Your cortisol levels stay high, and that keeps your brain in this constant state of high alert. It's almost impossible to get into that deep, restorative sleep when that's going on. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Stress and magnesium are stuck in what scientists call a vicious circle. So here's how it works. Stress fires up your HPA axis, right? Then your body, to deal with all that stress, flushes magnesium out of your cells. Your kidneys see all this extra magnesium in your blood and go, whoa, too much, and they get rid of it. But here's the real kicker. Having low magnesium actually makes your body more sensitive to stress, so you just get locked in this loop. So if stress is burning through our magnesium, which then makes us more stressed, how on earth do we break that cycle? Well, let's bring in the hero of our story, magnesium, aka the calming mineral. Research talks about magnesium not just as a simple mineral, but as the systemic commander. I love that. Think of it as this master regulator that comes in and helps restore order to all the systems that stress just threw into chaos, from your brain chemistry all the way to your hormones. Okay, to understand how it does this, just think of your brain as having an accelerator and a brake pedal. Glutamate is your accelerator. It gets you fired up and alert. GABA is the brake. It's what slows things down, quiets the noise, and brings on a sense of calm. That tired but wired feeling, that's basically having your foot jammed down on the accelerator with no brake. And this slide right here is the playbook. It shows exactly how magnesium brings back the balance. First, it helps out GABA, essentially pressing the brain's brake pedal for you. Then, it blocks a key receptor for glutamate, which is like easing your foot off that over-revving accelerator. It also helps calm down the HPA axis directly, which lowers cortisol. And, as a bonus, it's a critical helper molecule your body needs to turn serotonin into melatonin. You know, the sleep hormone. Okay, the theory sounds incredible, right? Magnesium seems to be doing all the right things. But what does the actual clinical evidence say? Let's try to separate the hype from the reality. There's definitely some really promising stuff out there. For instance, there was this key study back in 2012. It was a proper, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. They gave older adults with insomnia 500 milligrams of magnesium every day for 8 weeks. And the results? The magnesium group slept longer, had better quality sleep, and even had higher levels of melatonin. That's pretty significant. And if we zoom out to the bigger picture, a very recent systematic review from 2024 looked at a bunch of these trials together. It found a pretty clear trend. In most studies, magnesium supplementation led to better outcomes for both sleep and anxiety. We're talking 5 out of 8 sleep studies and 5 out of 7 anxiety studies, all reporting positive results. But, and this is super important for being scientifically honest, the authors of that same review pointed out a major catch. They said it's tough to draw really firm conclusions because all the studies were a little different. They used different doses, different types of magnesium, and often had just a handful of participants. So while the signs are really positive, we definitely still need bigger, better studies to be sure. So, keeping all that science in mind, let's get practical. If you're thinking about trying magnesium, how do you do it the right way? Consider this your official user's guide. First up, and this is probably the most important thing to know, not all magnesium is created equal. The type you take matters. A lot. For sleep and anxiety, the real standout is magnesium glycinate. It's easy for your body to absorb and it's super gentle on your stomach. L-threonate is another fantastic choice, especially for brain health. Then you have forms like citrate and oxide. They don't absorb as well, which means they're much more likely to have a laxative effect. Great for constipation, not so great for calming your mind. So yeah, let's just focus on that top recommendation for a second. Magnesium glycinate, which you might also see called bisglycinate, is really the perfect tool for this job. What makes it so special is that the magnesium is attached to glycine, and glycine is an amino acid that has its own calming effects. So it's kind of like you're getting a 2-for-1 calming combo. Okay, now for how to actually take it. A good dose is usually between 200 and 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day. Make sure you check the label for that number. The best advice is always to start low and work your way up. Taking it with some food can help, and for sleep, the sweet spot is about 1 to 2 hours before you want to hit the hay. And what about expectations? Look, this is not a magic sleeping pill. Some people, especially if they're really low on magnesium, might feel a little more relaxed pretty quickly. But the real benefits build up over time. You should probably look for real changes in your sleep after about 2 to 4 weeks. And for anxiety, it might take more like 4 to 6 weeks of taking it consistently. So I think the biggest takeaway here is this. Magnesium isn't a drug that knocks you out. It's a natural relaxant. It works with your body, supporting and rebalancing your own biological systems, your stress response, your neurotransmitters, to help you find that calm, restorative sleep all on your own. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. In our modern world, which is just full of chronic stress and nutritional gaps, could something as simple, as fundamental, as getting enough of this one calming mineral be a missing piece of the puzzle? It's definitely some food for thought. Thanks for diving in with me.